Hello and welcome to Murderous Midwest. I'm Abby.
And this is Eleanor.
And today we are talking about Ladriel Chapman.
Which we had a little moment of me trying to pronounce that name.
Yes, it's Ladriel.
Ladriel.
Ladriel. Ladriel. Oh my gosh, it's so hard to say and I don't know. I keep wanting to say, it reminds me of like Gabriel but with a L and a D.
Oh, just add in a couple more letters. It's fine.
And you're adding any more. It's the same. Anyways.
I gave myself the broken chair.
Again?
Yes. I'm upset now.
Yeah. We record in this little storage room, for those of you who don't know, and Eleanor always gets this chair every single time.
And it's not on purpose, because I lean back on, I'm enjoying the story.
It's very stabby.
And it just stabs me in the back.
Yeah. Kind of like how he did her. Ooh. Foreshadowing.
Physical or mental?
Not literally, though.
Oh, how boring.
Okay, so we are talking, as I said, about Ladriel Chapman and Denisha Galbraith. Okay, So this is a young couple. Ladriel is 25 years old, and Denisha is 21. So they are fairly young. And we're just gonna jump right into what happened. So June 6th, 2020, so this was 2 years ago, Denisha Galbraith, or just Denisha, we'll just call her Denisha because I don't really want to pronounce that whole name every time. Denisha was pronounced dead, or she was found dead, She was found dead June 6th. Words are really hard.
You got this, I believe in you.
Yes.
I'm going to sit here and I'm going to eat my Reese's and you're not going to bother me with this at all.
So, I'm just going to, kind of work our way back from this.
Okay, yep.
A car was found, and this car was a Dodge Nitro, for those of you. I don't know what that looks like. I know that Eleanor doesn't know what that looks like.
How dare you assume? Maybe in, the last 2 weeks of us not doing this, I learned all about cars.
Yeah, totally. Do you know what it looks like, Eleanor?
No! No!
Yeah, that's what I thought. For those of you who do like cars and do listen to us, it was a Dodge Nitro.
It's a weird mix. I hope that you must have found some really hard time finding your interests if you like cars and then are also listening to us.
Right.
Those are two very different things.
Well, I mean, people like that are out there. So, this car was found along a road barricade. You know the cement blocks that are in the middle of the road?
Oh yeah.
And they're I don't know, 2 feet tall ish, about. So it was parked along one of those by Metro Police, the Metro Police station in Indiana. About 10:39 a.m.
By or in the parking lot at Metro Police?
It was just near it. And so, or in the 200 block of East Market Street in front of the City County building. So it was near the police station. It wasn't they didn't really have a parking lot. I looked up a picture of it. You know how our city town hall or whatever has the little sidewalk in front of it? We don't have an actual parking lot.
Yes.
It looked kind of like that.
Oh, okay.
So there wasn't really a parking lot, and it was just parked out in front of there. So they find this vehicle, and all of the doors are open. The trunk, the hood, all of it's open, and music is blaring. Radio is turned all the way up. Music is just blaring. And they found her slumped over the front, passenger seat on the dashboard.
Does it say who called?
Nobody was called. Remember, it was in front of the police station, so as the police are walking out.
Okay, they're hearing the music.
Yes. So they hear the music, and they see this, and so she's slumped over, and the vehicle's still running this whole time. So it's still running, music blasting, and in the, floor of the car, they found a bunch of shell casings. And paramedics came, and she was pronounced dead at 10:45 a.m.
Okay.
So she's officially announced dead 5 minutes after they find her, or 6 minutes after they find her. So this kind of all, happened real fast. So 3 hours later at about 1 o'clock, Ladriel walks in to his local police station. This is in Marion County, Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
So the car was at a different police station.
Okay.
About a couple towns over. So he goes over to Marion County Jail, not the police station, but the jail, with blood on his clothes. And he says that he needs to talk to a detective.
Okay.
This is an exact quote taken from him. He says, "I need to turn myself in, and I need to speak to a detective."
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh, you have caught my intrigue.
Right? Like, that was the one thing.
I have a physical reaction. I was like, please do more.
Yes, exactly. So
just ends episode there.
That's a direct quote taken from his mouth. So we know that this guy is human.
Mm-hmm.
The weird thing with this case is that when he was questioned, because obviously they're going to be like, well, this guy needs to talk to a detective.
Right.
Like now. So they take him into the, the interrogation room, whatever you want to call it. And detectives, ask him what happened.
Okay, so it's multiple detectives that they have on this.
Yeah, it's just like the two. You know how they have like the one or the two on smaller cases. So it's just, this one or two detectives. And they ask him what happened. And his explanation is that him and his girlfriend, because they're not married, girlfriend Denisha, were driving around.
Mm-hmm.
And they got in an argument, and he pulled over the car, and in the middle of the argument, Denisha pulled out a gun. She pulls out this gun.
Okay, this is from his perspective? Okay, got it.
Yes, this is from his perspective, and he tells them that she was waving it around, waving it in his face, and...
So, I got mine.
So she's waving this gun around in his face. They're arguing. Obviously, things are very heated. And he says that he attempted to take the gun from her. They struggled for a little bit, fighting over this gun, and it accidentally went off. It discharged on its own, which can happen. That is an actual thing that can happen.
You jostle around the gun, the mechanics of it are not perfect, and therefore accidents happen.
Well, and I mean, fingers slip, so triggers can be pulled. It is possible that it can be an accident. So as of right now, this looks like
an accident
from his point of view.
Like a second-degree murder, it would be most likely.
Later on, he says that he changes his story a little bit. Later on, he changes the story to they were arguing. That's still prominent. They were arguing. She pulls this gun, and he takes it from her and just shoots her.
Oh, wow. Oh, he went more dark. Okay. What came out?
Yeah. So this is what he said. He claimed that Galbraith pulled and waved a gun at him, Denisha, pulled and waved this gun at him during the argument. And when she waved it at him a second time, he grabbed it from her and shot her in self-defense. Big air quotes around that self-defense.
Self-defense. Okay.
The funny thing, I mean, it's not funny, but the funny thing about his explanation is that during the autopsy, remember when I said multiple shell casings? During the autopsy, they found he shot her 9 to 13 times.
Whoa. Okay.
So this was a very aggressive
once
assault.
He started to see that it wasn't going to be able to come out that it was an accidental shooting, because you can't accidentally shoot somebody 9 to 13 times. That is, that's where. Okay, because I'm wondering, I'm like, why did he change his story?
Yeah. But this was before the autopsy. He only claimed he shot her once.
Right. Well, once you sit in jail, you start to rethink over the story that you told. And
it was announced in court when they found out the 9 to 13 times.
Dude.
And me imagining in this, so I'm reading, I read 6 articles about this case. Me reading this article, I'm just imagining his face when they announced she was thought shot 9 to 13 times, and the panic this guy must be feeling.
We are so different with our research tactics, though.
How so?
I go 3 articles max, then I'm 10 YouTube videos in.
Yeah, no, I can't do videos. I like the articles.
Yeah, we're so different. Okay, continue.
Yeah, I mean, that's what makes this...
That's why this is different.
Exactly. Exactly. So, obviously, he panics in this court.
Right.
And he eventually just pleads guilty. And he admits to shooting her. She was the mother of his 2 children. They were never married, but she was still the mother of his 2 children. And he was charged...
2 kids?
He had 2 kids.
Does Jesus say what age?
No.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, so... He left, during this whole thing, he left his children at home alone. They were young.
Mm-hmm.
They were very young. I mean, they were not older. And since they were so young, it leads me to believe they were under 10, both of them.
Oh, gosh.
Because he was charged, these were all of his charges.
Oh, yes.
Murder, carrying a handgun without a license. He had no license for this handgun.
Oh, gosh. My jaw just dropped to the floor.
Yeah, and 2 counts of neglect for his children.
Neglect? Oh, no.
Yeah, for his children.
Oh, gosh, these poor kids.
Because he left them at home alone.
Oh, gosh.
Which is why it leads me to believe that they were at least under 10, because usually they won't charge with neglect.
Yeah,
until they're, like, over 10, because then you can just say, oh, well, the older one was watching the younger one while we were out on an errand or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So... I'm thinking...
A lot goes into a neglect charge, though.
It does. A lot goes into a neglect charge, so there must have been something else that was added to it that I didn't find. I'm assuming that the children were left for days or hours or...
Not only that, but who knows what the house looked like, what they looked like.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He ended up... The counts of neglect, the 2 counts of neglect, and then the handgun charge... were dropped, and he was only convicted of murder. He sat in jail for 2 years until his court case came up this year. Recently.
Oh.
It was recently that he was, I believe it was 2021.
Oh, gosh.
That he was charged with murder.
And he didn't get...
They dropped the neglect charge. I'm not sure why they dropped the neglect charge, but they did. And they dropped the license murder because the gun, he wasn't the one originally carrying the gun. They had no proof showing that he carried the gun and that she didn't. So they
that is sneaky. That is sneaky. Mm-hmm. He had a really good lawyer on that one then. I didn't even think about that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
there's no way that they can prove that he bought the gun, that it was with him at all times. He used it.
There is ways of proving because they don't know whose name the gun was in.
Yeah.
I couldn't find that information.
If it wasn't legal, then there was no name for them to look into.
That too. So I'm not sure if the gun was illegal, but I know for a fact that they dropped that charge because they couldn't prove,
that's fair,
that he was the one carrying the gun originally. I kind of want to, hear what you think about this, because I have, this theory building on in my head of what maybe could have happened, or if an argument actually ensued, stuff like that.
This is, from what I have gotten about the story, this seems like a complete story about passion.
Yeah.
This was a passionate murder.
Mm-hmm.
And the legal ways that you have to think about it for, I think it's... In Illinois, it's 15 seconds. For it to be a planned murder, you have to think about it for more than 15 seconds.
For you to be charged with first-degree murder, yes, it is. That sounds correct.
It is seconds of thinking, which is scary.
Yeah.
Sorry, excuse me. I really hate coughing, and it makes me so mad.
No, you're good.
But so with that, doing the 15 shots, whether or not the first ones didn't take so long, he must have exceeded the 15 seconds by at least one of the shots.
Well, I mean, you have to think.
I don't know a lot about guns.
This is just, okay, so let me just...
How long does it take to shoot 15 shots?
It was 9 and 13. 9 and 13, but still, it would have exceeded the, thought process, because This includes the entire the tail end of the argument.
Mm-hmm.
Her waving the gun in his face. He's thinking
Yes.
about, okay, how am I going to take this away from her? How am I going to do this? What am I going to do?
Mm-hmm.
So that already adds on to your 15 seconds, your 15-second frame.
Okay.
And every time I'm assuming that this is just a basic handgun, like a pistol
Mm-hmm.
of some sort.
Well, if she's waving it in the face.
Exactly. So it's not a large gun.
Right.
You're going to need to reload the gun. Not reload the magazine, but you're going to have to reload the chamber of the gun.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
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 You know what that means, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I do know.
I just wanted to make sure that was clear. So it does take, it would take longer than 15 seconds with the added on time of her waving it in his face.
And even if we didn't include the argument, I'm thinking at least one of the last shots would have exceeded the 15-second mark with reloading included.
Mm-hmm.
And so with that, it's planned.
Yes.
So I don't know how he didn't. Did he get first degree?
I don't believe it was first degree. I think it was second. Let me look at my notes.
Gosh. See, that's what I'm confused on, is that how could it be second degree when it was pre-thought then? It was planned murder. And as well with it, it is a murder of passion. And so personally, I think that he got off easy. And then with the neglect charges, I guess they didn't have.
It was 2022.
Oh, gosh.
February 4th, 2022 is when he was convicted of murder.
Oh,
it does not say what charge of murder, though.
Okay. So if he got second, I think he would have gotten off easy.
He is to be sentenced, taken to jail, the official jail that he's going to be spending his time in, March 4th. 2 days.
Oh.
In 2 days.
My gosh.
Yeah.
Look at us, getting...
This is like I said, it is a very, very recent case.
Oh my gosh. That is crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm the first thing I'm thinking about is the kids, though. I feel so bad for them.
I do too, but honestly, you have to think about if they were able to even suggest a neglect charge, whether or not it was carried out, even if they were able to suggest a neglect
just
charge,
the fact
I'm
that
sure
they don't have a mom or a dad right now.
Yeah.
And the life that they must have grown up. If they got to the point in their fighting that a gun was pulled out,
yeah, I mean,
that must have been a terrible life for them.
Exactly. And I mean, it is really sad, but honestly, you have to think about it's probably better for them.
Oh no, I just feel bad that they had to be in that situation from the beginning.
Yeah.
Because the parents in this type of abusive type of relationship, that is awful. And honestly, I think he almost got off easier, but with such a murder of such passion.
Yeah. To shoot somebody 9 to 13 times, the exact number wasn't found because, I mean, obviously, if you have no control over this gun, you can wave it around a certain amount of times. But they found at least 9 shell casings.
Oh, gosh.
So.
And that's bang, bang. Oh, my gosh. That is so many.
See, what I think is a little odd.
Yes.
Is that...
What stands out to you, Abby, please?
What really stood out to me when I was researching this case was this was parked really close to the police station.
And if the gun is going bang, bang, bang... Guns are loud!
Well, no. So it happened further away. It happened a couple counties over.
Uh-huh.
But it was on the side of the road. So it makes me think... how did nobody see? One?
What type of neighborhood was this? Was this a nice Orient type neighborhood or
so the shooting was predicted to happen on an interstate.
Oh.
It was it was a highway, so it was not really in a town.
So he drove?
Yeah.
The car?
Yeah. So the shooting itself happened a couple counties over. He drove the car to a different police station, drove back to his hometown, I'm calling it. I don't know if he actually grew up there, but his original town of...
His residence.
Yes, his residence, and then reported himself there. So he's driving around. There's a couple things.
That is
How did nobody
suspicious.
notice that he was shooting her or... here, because even if you are driving in a car, even if you have the music really loud, or, you know, you're just driving by for a split second, gunshots are really loud.
So loud.
And nobody knows if the windows were rolled down. The windows could have been rolled down. You know, there was no way that nobody would have been able to hear something.
Right.
And then he's driving around with her slumped over. How was nobody going to notice?
Yeah.
Even...
Okay.
There's just so many cases of how did nobody see this?
Yeah.
How did nobody see this happen and stop and think, oh my God, what is going on?
Right. And I'm trying to think, what would I do if I saw somebody or I heard gunshots
you would
come
call,
from
at
a
least
car?
call the police.
I think I would. Yeah.
Stop. I wouldn't expect anybody to stop, per se, but at least call the police.
It's not safe to stop.
It is not safe to stop. That's why I said that.
Yeah.
And then my third thing is, if he drove over to this police station, he had to, like, pursue back home, not necessarily on foot, but he had to walk to a bus stop on foot.
He had time to think through his story.
He had had blood all over his clothes. It was reported at the prison. How did nobody see the blood on his clothes? Which, this is my theory, and I'm just gonna... it's already weird. It's already...
Can I guess?
1 second.
Okay.
It's already, like, weird that this car is right in front of the police station and none of the, like, police, none of the
Detectives.
secretaries, nobody noticed that he was opening all the doors and all the trunk and the hood. Nobody really knows why he did that. He just kind of, like, did that.
Death,
and
maybe?
he didn't really know why he did that either. He was just like, I don't know.
I mean, obviously he's in a psychotic state.
Yeah. So he opens all these doors and the trunk and the hood of the car and turns the radio all the way up to the point of, like, it is so loud, there is no way nobody could notice it. There's just so many...
It's so loud that they went out of the police station to go see it.
Exactly. There's so many, like, details in this that I'm like, how did nobody notice?
Yeah.
Which leads me to believe...
Yes, I think I'm following.
That it was planned. The whole thing was planned. Whether the argument was planned or if the argument actually happened.
Oh, yeah. I guess you don't really know.
It's not like she can say anything about it.
Yeah.
So, whether the argument happened, and there's no witnesses, why would you leave your kids at home if you're going out? Like, if you are an unfit parent, okay? Seemingly from the outside, he was not. Seemingly from the outside, you know, people said, like, oh, you know, he's a normal parent, it's fine. Why would he leave his kids at home and just go out with his girlfriend? Alone, especially if they're under 10, without somebody there or without somebody knowing that they were gone, kind of thing. Why just... There's so much...
I'm lost within the understanding of the people around them. But if he was prominent in his community and everybody knew that they fought, like you have that... If you have like a neighbors that fight, hearing a loud argument.
Yeah. So here's my thought process, is I believed he planned on killing her beforehand.
Oh, okay.
He thought about this, and he thought about, okay, well, I need to kill this girl. And let's say the argument did happen in the car.
Okay.
Okay. He pulls a gun.
Okay.
This is very easy to conceal a gun in your car, whether it's yours or not. He pulls a gun on her, shoots her 9 to 13 times, and says, oh crap, this is not how this was supposed to go. Panics, drives over a couple counties, drops the car and her body off, calls somebody else, maybe one of his friends or an acquaintance of some sort that planned this with him. I believe there had to have been an accomplice.
Oh, okay.
There is no way that this guy could have walked over from this county to the next in 3 hours. Oh my God. In 3 hours, because he showed up at the
especially
prison.
If he's covered in blood.
If he's covered in blood, somebody would notice. How would he get on the bus station or on any, even if he took a train or if he took a subway? Doesn't matter. How would he get on there without nobody commenting on it?
Right.
Nobody commenting on the blood that was apparently all over his clothes.
All over? Oh my gosh.
Yeah. It had to have been planned.
I love this.
It is insane to me how nobody caught these details.
Yeah.
Because it was not mentioned in any case, in any file, in any article, nothing.
Oh, gosh. Of course, we are catching it incredibly early, so...
We are. I mean, there could be things coming up, but now that he was convicted, it is a closed case, so nobody's really going to open it back up.
Right. Oh my gosh. I love this thought process. I'm going to appreciate your brain real quick and be like, oh my gosh, you're so smart. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, so...
It's just like, this is what I'm thinking about as I'm reading all of these articles. I'm like, how did nobody notice?
Yeah. No. You lost me for like a couple seconds when you brought up an accomplice.
Trying to find like words.
Like, why were you accomplice? And now I'm like hearing it, I'm like, sounds completely reasonable.
Yeah.
Because, and it's really messed up. If there was no accomplice,
it's just kind of like,
I don't see how
there
could not have
been somebody there.
Or there has to be some information that just isn't there.
Yeah. There's something
there's an accomplice,
missing.
Another car, hitchhiking.
He never explained how he got home.
Oh, gosh.
Which leaves so many opportunities for all these holes. And they never asked either.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
They just knew
what county, what state is this in?
Indiana.
I don't know.
Yes, this is in Indiana, Marion County.
Oh gosh. Yep. No, that is crazy,
right?
I don't know how.
Right? There's so many holes in this case.
There is. I'm excited to hear if anybody else has any holes that they found.
Yeah.
Or anything that like we haven't thought of.
Yes, exactly. And I mean, obviously, I've done some thinking on this, trying to figure it out.
I mean, okay, so we had to take like a huge break there for a second because scheduling mishaps and me being sick and fun stuff like that. So you've had a little longer to try to think this through.
Exactly, and so I think it was really nice to have that little bit of extra time, although it made me sad that we couldn't record, obviously.
Because we do.
I think having that little bit of extra time.
It really presented an interesting thought process that I loved following you down.
You're right.
Yeah,
like,
it's so weird. I'm still trying to wrap my head around it.
Yeah, but you see all of the like loopholes.
Yes, I do. It is.
It's very odd.
I'm really trying to find. I want to like see where the detectives could cover up these holes that isn't being shared.
I want to hear the detective's explanation as of why they didn't ask.
Yeah.
I feel like it's almost like laziness.
Yeah.
They just have this guy.
Well, they thought it was an open shut case.
Exactly. They had this guy come in. Oh, well, he shot this girl. We found that out. It's done, but it's not.
Right.
They didn't really ask the like how and why. And like, I don't know. It's
the
very
questions.
Weird.
The questions.
The big questions that need to be asked about this kind of stuff.
Oh my gosh. I love it. I love it so much.
Yeah.
I hate it. I mean, I hate it. Don't get me wrong. It's not like I'm like, oh, murder's so fun. I love hearing it. I just love the idea. I love like traveling down this like thought process with you. Oh my gosh. Nope. I'm still trying to wrap my head around it. It's still like mind-boggling to me.
Yeah. It's very, like,
I mean, murder
twisted.
itself is mind-boggling to me. I don't think I've ever been able to understand why.
Yeah. No, me either. It baffles me how humans can do such things to each other.
No, yeah. Especially, like, war and all that kind of stuff. I don't really
especially, like, right now.
Like, right now.
But we're not going to get into that, because this is not a political podcast.
We are not a political podcast. I mean, I could, but no one wants to hear me rant about that kind of stuff. We'll leave that up to our lovely friends in journalism.
Yes.
With their podcast.
Shout out to all of the other journalism people.
Yes, they have their podcast going, and it sounds like next year there might be some new podcasts.
Yes.
So
which is very exciting.
It'll be very exciting.
Yes.
What is their podcast called?
Which one?
Oh, the one with Parker and Tapscott. Faux Scottman Report.
Yep.
So they're talking a little bit about politics sides of things recently on their podcast. So if that is something that you're into, and you also want to go down some really, really weird rabbit holes,
go look into their podcast.
Yeah,
too.
I'll give them a little shout out with that. Yeah.
All right. Thank you for joining us today. We are so happy to be back.
Let me hear any of your plot holes that you found in it.
Yes, and we want to know how you felt about this case, because personally, I think it is very weird.
I think there's so much left to figure out.
There's so much
and the fact
going
that it's
on.
Closed is terrifying.
Yes. Anyways, have a great day.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.